So here's what's going on next. We already did the monochromatic and complementary, so now we're going to do the analogous. Okay, remember, monochromatic is one color plus black and white to create tints and shades. Complementary is using two colors that are found opposite each other in the color wheel to create value, alter intensity and saturation. And then analogous is colors that are found next to each other on the color wheel. So when we were looking at our value scales here that we did, okay, we identified our different colors that we were going to be using, right? So obviously for monochromatic with black and white, and with complementary we added orange, and then with analogous we looked at violet and green. Okay, so those are also cool colors, right? So that's what we're going to be using. Now, like I said with complementary, is when you start introducing more colors, you start to get more options, which is great, right? But then when you start introducing more options and more colors, that also gets a little bit more confusing. Okay, so one of the things that I want to make sure that you understand is that as you're using your colors, okay, is you could use these colors however you choose to, but you have to just stick to these colors. So like this, see here I'm using blue and orange, but notice I made one piece orange and everything else blue, right? So I mean, I could have made both of these orange and everything else blue. I could have made the background orange and these things blue. So you see, there's so many different things you can do. Same thing here. So blue was my main color, okay, that I chose, and so obviously something's going to be blue, okay, and then I'm going to use either green or violet to make it darker. I will introduce it, like for example, if I use violet, I'll throw in some green as well to help make it a little bit darker, like I did in my value scale. Same thing if I use green, I'll throw in a little bit of violet eventually, but it's one of these two is going to be my main support color. Okay, then let's say for example I choose this to be blue and I want to shade it primarily with violet. That's awesome. Let's say for example I want this one to be blue and I want to shade it primarily with green. That's cool too. Okay, then let's say for example I want to make this violet. Well, then I could either shade it with blue or green. Okay, let's say I want to make it green, then I could shade it with blue or violet. You see, so there's lots of options. Now the one thing that always stays consistent as well is that white is always going to be making it lighter. Okay, so those are just the ways that we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Pay attention to how I go back and forth between colors. Okay. So there you have it. You have monochromatic, complementary, and analogous, all using blue as the main color. You can see that we could achieve very drastically different drawings with the same color using different color schemes. Okay, so that's something I really wanted you to pay attention to, because way too often we use black just to darken things, but look what happens when you start to use orange, or when we start to use green and violet. I mean, there's so many other options as well. These aren't just the only three, but these are the three that I wanted to make sure that you understood. Okay, so we did this and these, and if you want more practice, this is up to you. You know, you could always go ahead and do these. All right, that's up to you. Okay, you have some examples already of the value scales that you could use to apply to that, so that way you could just get some more practice. But again, that's really up to you and how much you want to improve your skills. Okay, so that's where we're at. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.